Alright guys, moving on to our continuing control, the most important part of the 50-50 is going to be maintenance of control of your opponent's trapped knee. Everything else is going to change. We also need to protect ourselves at all times, but the key to stability inside of this position is going to be controlling our opponent's knee. So if I have Tim stuck in the 50-50, right now, notice there's daylight here. There's like an egress for him to potentially leave the position, whether it's rolling, retraction of his knee. You know, if I can take my leg back out. We don't want this to happen. We want to leave and enter the 50-50 on our own terms. So we want to maximize our own ability to protect ourselves, and we want to minimize our opponent's ability to attack us, as well as disengage the position. This is extremely important to be able to maintain control here. So right now, when I triangle, as shown before, we can triangle. I can be facing in or out, but Tim's knee is shelved on top of my thigh. This is absolutely critical. If I lose control of Tim's knee, I lose control of my ability to hurt him through the heel hook. It's not impossible for me to hurt him, say for instance if his knee is trapped here, but I have to go all nuts and try to take his foot off, and even then the odds of successfully finishing the heel hook are minimal. Every now and then, if you're a high level competitor, your opponent is not, every now and then people will get scared and tap when they shouldn't. But in order to get a high level person to tap, or in an MMA fight or things like that, you have to put them in fear of their own safety. So right now, because Tim's knee is stabilized, I'm not going to bleed any force. I'm not going to bleed any pressure if I try to turn his heel. Absolutely critical in every situation, whether we're triangled, extended, or foot to foot, Tim's knee is trapped. Anytime I feel myself losing this position, my number one concern is not finishing the heel hook, it's not getting the sweep, it is simply and solely maintaining control of Tim's trapped knee. If I ever find myself out here or wide apart or losing him here, my free hand, typically my right hand if his right hand is trapped, but again, it doesn't have to be that way. Reality says it's not always going to be one or the other. Whatever hand I need is going to reach through and hold on. Tim, if you go to move around and escape, I'm extremely strong here. All I'm doing is I'm gripping behind with 5 fingers. Remember, try to avoid using a C grip when you're trying to hold on to things. This grip pushes away from you. 5 fingers is going to pull in. And I don't want to sit here and flare my elbow. I want to keep my arm in close to my body, and I'm going to try to pull back. I want to create like a chain in the muscles of the right side of my body, just gluing his leg to me. So Tim, if you spin and roll, you just roll around and we're completely stuck together. Anytime I find myself losing him, I'm trying to finish the heel hook, I start to lose him, come back and get him. Come back and get him in control. Now, what are going to be the common? The common means that your opponent is going to try to use to leave this position are going to be rolling, retracting their knee, and rotation. If Tim attempts to rotate around the side, I'm always just going to maintain control. I'm rotating, controlling, sticking on his knee. We don't have to worry about the heel hook. In an MMA fight, obviously things are slightly different. I need to make sure that I protect my face a little bit here. But the idea, the number one concern is always going to be maintenance of control. If I have to hold onto his leg with a death grip, I will do it. Because again, eventually, this is a skill-based position. We're in a neutral spot, but if Tim wants to move explosively, you'll notice he has to disconnect his feet. When I keep my feet trapped together or like this, I'm pretty much glued here. If I want to start moving explosively, you'll notice I had to separate my left from my right foot, which opens up space for Tim to take his knee out, 1, should he choose to, but 2, if Tim wants to keep me in this position, it places me in severe danger of the heel hook. So all we're going to do from our perspective, wanting to finish here, is we're going to make sure that there's no daylight, there's no opening. Feet together, start to lose him, come get him back. Deep triangle or extend, his knee is shelved, I'm not going to lose any pressure, I can finish the heel hook at will, which we're about to get into the fine points of right about now.